accommodate them and like give them enough time to adjust the Oculus Rift. There's also certain things like you can't look down at your hands in the controller while you're playing a Rift game. So it's really important that our controls are really easy to pick up and that players aren't having to shift their hands a lot and like hit a lot of complicated button combinations. So there have been some really, really fun things that we've gotten to play around with our play testing. And we're so excited going forward to keep adding more because we want to make sure that our game is not just easy to access, but also comfortable to be able to play. Because motion sickness can be a problem with virtual reality. And so it's just all about like smoothing out the rough edges and giving people a comfortable experience and amazing experience with our game. I'm going to pass this back really quick to Balder. He's just going to go over some of our goals.
Yeah, so definitely one of the most important things is accessibility and ease of use, and that's at the same time, I mean, a lot of that is tutorials, right? So we're gonna have people coming up to play this game. They may only have a couple minutes, but they need to know right away how to play it. But we don't want to break the immersion. I mean, we really want to set them inside of a world and not make them think of the world outside of that, right? So we're trying to avoid text. And we're trying to avoid obvious like UI elements. And so what we'll be struggling with and using, we have systems in place such as ghosts that you can interact with that can demonstrate skills for you. But also we're just going to really have to work on designing out a solid tutorial system that doesn't jeopardize that level of immersion. Other than that, improvements, just filling this whole space with as much narrative as we possibly can. We want people to explore any part of this world and be rewarded for it. And say, hey, like, why is this here? What is this? Everything that they should do, they should feel good. Any place they go should be exciting. And I think that brings us to it. You guys have any questions? You can field them now. What's up, Will?
Hey, guys. First of all, it looks absolutely great, especially the lighting, post-processing, great textures. It really does. I wanted to ask something about Oculus development. That I've noticed, which is just Oculus fatigue. It's like similar to motion sickness, but it's I've never seen someone play for more than 30 or 45 minutes before they're like, okay, I'm kind of done with this. And one way that I think you could combat that, especially in a motion-heavy game, is with like periods of calm or like just general pacing of the game. Like, what are your thoughts on that, and what do you think you're gonna develop with that?
Luckily for us, that is something that we've encountered, and we've had to do a lot of adjustments just as far as music is concerned. To avoid that fatigue, because that is something that has come up. Luckily for us, this game was already built in such a way that you have high-paced energy, like high-energy gameplay, where you're flying, you're sweeping, you're doing a whole bunch of stuff. And then we have big sections where you are looking at the small details of the environment. And also, because flight isn't always there for you, Riley said, like, one of the goals of the game is to push out this ether so you can fly everywhere. That means that you have to walk through a portion of it, right? And that does automatically slow things down. And you're right, I think that does sort of help to counteract the fatigue of having so many things move past all the time.
I guess, have you considered like perfectly still segments? I mean, I know it's not very interactive, but like more cinematic stuff or things where the player is sitting and like watching something like...
There's definitely stuff that we are planning on as far as making people sort of meditate and I guess just think about the space that they're in, because this is such a unique kind of experience to virtually be in a space. It allows you to appreciate that area much more. So there are definitely designs that are coming our way that slow things down even to that extent. What else you guys got? Animal shirts, I know. What's up?
Considering that you're going to be flying upward, how are you going to kind of distribute between different areas so the player couldn't just go everywhere instantly?
Luckily, flying upwards is limited by those ether streams, right? That was one of, thinking about this game, we were immediately like, oh god, like how do we stop people from just flying and breaking everything, right? That's why we have these ether streams in place. That's like, you have to use them to get up places, otherwise you're just gliding downwards. And so that allows us, plus the cave walls allow us to sort of like box in the player enough so that they can't just go anywhere they want. But we have enough of them so it still feels like it's an open world kind of experience.
One more question? Anybody? Cool. All right.
Brooke has a question.